Alright, there we go. YouTube was taking forever to allow us to go live. Anyways, good morning ladies and gents. Welcome to another video brought to you by Total Control Traders. Let's get right into the tickers. Let's take a look. Market is at new all-time high as of pre-market right now. Previous all-time high at 40 on SPX, 4428.2. And as for right now, pre-market 4433.2. And towards the end of the day yesterday, we had a ramp into the close, which allowed and was a pre-indication for the all-time high coming. As you can see, 1 o'clock, 1:30, that volume, increasing volume, price action really ramped up. We were in this short-term wedge at the top of SPX. And towards the end of the day, we broke it. Well, actually, we broke it early morning, sideways, mini wedge here, broke bull. And crazy follow through so far. So congrats, market bulls. SPX, new all-time high. SPY, new all-time high. Volatility, probably low. Nope, not all-time low yet. Alright, NAS made all-time high yesterday, and now we're having a little bit of a pullback. There is a bear divergence, so ideally we don't want to see a significant bear pressure today because that may drag the market down. However, do keep in mind that today is Apple's ex-dividend date that we've been watching. I mentioned this in the previous videos, that if Apple ex-dividend is a repeat of the last few, I can't remember how many I looked back to. If you were to look at the Apple ex-dividend date, first one marked it. No, it didn't mark the top, but there was a few days of bears following that. Another one, lots of bears following ex-dividend. Another one, couple days of bearish price action following dividend. This one was in an uptrend, but even within an uptrend, there were still a couple days bearish action following ex-dividend. Same with here, another couple days. So it's just that alone, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 of the previous ex-dividend days on Apple had marked the beginning of a bearish trend. So let's see if that is going to be another repeat today. Apple ex-dividend today. If it is, I would anticipate bearish action on NAS as well, with Apple pulling it down, which means it could be bad for the market in the sense that there is a bearish divergence from this previous high to yesterday's high, and RSI significantly cooled off on the momentum. So big bearish divergence. Ideally, we don't want to see big bear price action today on NAS. Next is RUS. RUS is significantly stronger as anticipated. Now, if we were to zoom into closer on RUS, there is double inverse head and shoulders. This is the previous one, which we had confirmed but saw a lack of follow through. Neckline broken, lack of follow through. GP, we rejected GP 3 times, and then from there, yesterday we saw a mini inverse head and shoulders that confirmed, broke the neckline as well, and now we are breaking the GP trend line. From here, I would be looking at reactions at a couple of spots. One being the 2242. Following that would be GP at 2260 zone. Upon the break of 2260, we'll be looking back up. Yeah, we'll be looking back up at the upper trend line of the long-term wedge. So lots of trend lines here. Upon the break of this GP, which currently is lining up with inner wedge upper trend line, we'd be looking at about this zone. Once that is broken, we'd be looking back up to the upper trend line. Next is Dow. Still hovering in that all-time high zone. No significant red flags. Volumes decreasing. I would say at the maximum probably another 3-4 days before a significant move that's coming. Maximum 3-4 days. We could be seeing a move today. Looks like it's ready. So watch the Dow today. We are seeing significant bull price actions on majority of the reopenings. So that could be a good sign for Dow. Next is US dollars. Bouncing from the point 382, nothing significant. US 10 years, double bottom. Okay, so watch for this double bottom. We could potentially come back. We haven't backtested this key trend line yet. So there is a chance that from here we will go up before another leg down. Let's say GP for now. Something like that. If that is the case, that would help. That should indicate that market is still relatively strong. Gold pulling back, that's good. Bitcoin. Let's get into the tickers. What happened to the drawings? Oh no! Did I lose my drawings? Oh great, okay. Guess we'll have to redo it. We'll use the old, so in case you haven't noticed, I switched over Bitcoin ticker. We'll use the previous one that we used before. Nope, not this one. Did all my Bitcoin drawings disappear? I think all my Bitcoin's drawings disappeared. Okay, well, anyways, let's redraw this then. So clear bottom. Oh, look at that. I guess TradingView is just lagging today. Anyway, so the drawings came back. So on Bitcoin, significant bull action yesterday, increasing bull volume. Today so far seems like it's a decent bear volume so far. We are trading above the key trend line now, but it seems like we're hovering around it. The balance is from 0.382, so Bitcoin seems relatively strong. 0.382 from this last move. Now if we were to break this key zone, break this previous resistance, I'd be looking back up at a GP of 47,774. Gonna need my anticipation is gonna need a couple more days, few more days into a week. Ideally for bulls, you want to see a bull pennant forming. That would be the most ideal to cool down our size. As you can see right now, if we were to make a new high from here, we would form a strong bearish divergence. And ideally, bulls don't want that. So from here, we want to be seeing some sort of wedge, some sort of pennant, some bear flag or bull flag into a new high. And let me know if you guys have any tickers you like reviewed. I get a few prepared. So Bitcoin, right after Bitcoin, always gonna be Hive. This is interesting. We did get an immediate backtest yesterday on Hive. So let's turn this off. Broke over, immediate backtest, and then bullish action. So time frame wise, a lot shorter than anticipated on one of these two moves. No, break over, backtest, and go. Break over, immediate backtest. We could see continuation here. This is a long-term descending wedge. Breaking bull on Hive. There is a good chance. There's a good chance that this can see some decent continuation. Next is Score. Congrats, Score from yesterday. Whoever held Score, let this be a celebration, a lesson, whatever you were in, whether if you're holding from before, whether if you're new positions. So let's take a look at the Canadian side on Score, because that's the one that we play in the chat room. On Canadian side, we anticipated $17 right around 17.18 to be the bottom. And it did touch that 17 two times, but it didn't touch the exact price that we were looking at. Didn't get to the lower trend line. So relative strength. And then from there, we saw huge bullish action into yesterday. Score is to be bought by Penn. That is the news. Per share wise on US would be $34 per share. So there is still a little bit of room left for it to move. Right now is it trading at 32.64, $1.40 left to that 34 mark. Yesterday, classic at the open on a huge gap up like that. I think it was 68% or so. You will see some selling pressure. It did gap right into resistance as well. So selling pressure right away. However, due to the fact that each share is to be bought at $34, you will the likely chance is that you should see a huge dip buying, which we saw right away into new all-time highs, or yeah, new all-time highs on the US side. Yeah, and anticipation from it now going forward is we're likely to trade in that 34 US dollar zone, which makes sense. It's around GP from this last retracement. I would imagine they're going to hover around that zone until the company is bought out by Penn. So from here, there's not a whole lot of opportunity going forward. The move is already done, 80%. Majority of it is already done. There's a little bit left. But congrats, score regardless. Next is Tesla. What a beauty. Tesla is forming a 4-hour already bull pennant. I already lost the 8 a couple times, so we'll call it 4 hours for now. We do not want to see a bear break from here. If we do, that's still okay too, because it's still going to be strong. Ideally, for those who are not in, you want to be looking for a retest of whether it's going to be this trend line or the long-term wedge trend line. The most ideal entry would be a backtest of this long-term wedge upper trend line. Right now, we are still hovering in this ascending channel for now. So even if we were to come down, let's say that we come down, GP could be an ideal entry. Not the most ideal, would be ideal. So most ideal entry, obviously a backtest of here, but that would be a little bit red flaggy, a little bit concerning, because we're going to be giving majority of the move back, whereas an entry around GP, which is right around that lower trend line of the rising channel, that would make sense. 0.5 maybe, depending on how long it takes for this to pull back. You know, we could be looking at more so down here, but as the way it stands right now, it is a 4-hour bear bull pennant, showing good potential, low bear volume, good potential for upward price action to come. This is a long-term wedge bull break, so we could be seeing lots of follow through. Make sure that you, my suggestion would be to make sure you have a foot in the door for Tesla. If this continues to go 0.5, let's see. So the lows, the highs, the higher lows, and the lines up. Okay, so it's basically the same drawing. If this continues to go, the next target is 774, which lines up with the top of the key zone, which lines up with the previous resistance support. And depending on how long it takes, it could line up with the upper part, the upper trend line of the rising channel. 774 on the next leg move up. All right, next is mRNA. Continues to go. Earnings, nothing really significant. Price action, pre-market is a little bit opening down a little bit, ever so slightly, 0.57%. Slight daily bear divergence, but as you saw from here, even on this bear divergence, the pullback was so minimal and the follow through was crazy. So what does it look like on the weekly? Oh, weekly is showing a top should be in very soon. RSI is at 87 on the weekly. Problem with this is it's going to be hard to draw a fib extension. Maybe not hard, but the level is just going to be way off. Okay, so the 1 to 3 extension is right there. This could very well be the top coming in. Yeah, that makes sense. 1 to 3 extension. Woo! We have not used the 1 to 3 extension in a long time. Ever since 2020, I would say. So 445, 1 to 3 extension. There is no sign of climax yet. No sign of reversal yet. So there could be another few more candles of green before making the top. Keep your eyes on the volume climax. This one was due to some news, or it was either news or rebalancing, I can't remember. But this volume didn't really indicate the top. But watch for a similar kind of thing. Volume climax, reversal candle, in conjunction, both of them, you know, that would mark the top of the chart. That's mRNA, Moderna. Next is Hood. All right, Hood, nice squeeze. Congrats, Hood Bulls. We're because we didn't do a video on Wednesday, but belated congrats to Hood Bulls. Man, what a squeeze. Double bottom on the IPO and the day after, 33.25, 33.35. From there, we saw a move of 155%. Robin Hood whales squeezed this good. Now from there, we saw a huge upper wick, and yesterday we were anticipating some sort of inside bar, but I guess they wanted to fill the gap. There is a huge gap to be filled. 12% alone from this gap. Going down, going reverse, the other way would be 10.76%. So we are in the gap right now. We are gapping up a little bit from today versus yesterday, 4.38%. The move is very volatile. So if you're playing this name, make sure to have your stops. Make sure you have your game plan ready before going in. From here, I would anticipate at least a gap fill before a next leg move up, or some sort of equilibrium from here. A couple tickers. So a couple tickers I really wanted to discuss. First being Disney. So somewhat of a red flag. We don't know yet. We gotta wait for we gotta wait for the open to make sure that this is the right price action. From what I'm seeing here right now, and let's just look at the brokerage to confirm. Okay, so brokerage is showing 176. TradingView is, as of right now, is not correct. It could be from depending on how long ago the pre-market trade was. But the bid and the ask is at 176. So there is no huge gap down on Disney. Regardless, so this is the wedge that we're tracking. If it's 176, that's great because we should see continuation. There is support around 175, right around this zone. How come it doesn't line up? Rejection, almost touch. Nope, I like it here better. Okay, so we did break over that key previous support. We want to see continuation on Disney. There is a very good chance for this to see big upside price action once this wedge is broken. There are some still resistance above the wedge upper trend line. So there's a key zone here. There is the previous all-time high. But Disney is looking great, especially based on yesterday's volume. Earnings is coming up on August 12th. And the other one that I wanted to take a look at is Coin. So similar idea. Right now it's showing a huge gap down. Even though Bitcoin is up. Is it up? It is slightly down. So if we're to look at Coin on the brokerage, same idea. Bitcoin is, or Coin is showing bid at 255. So I'm not sure why TradingView is doing this. Showing the pre-market at 239. But slightly green on the percentage. That is so weird. Let me show you guys this. Maybe it's the data pack that's making a difference right now. Let me see if you guys can see this. Yeah, so you see how coin right now, you know, the previous market is showing 255 close, and right now it's showing 239, but instead it's actually showing a 0.06% green. Anyways, coin, we are having slight rejection from that previous key zone. The trend is reversed now. The daily trend is to bull. We saw higher high, higher low, higher high, or sorry, lower high, higher low, higher high, higher low, and now higher high again. We're gonna need to break this 261.15, but the chances are looking pretty good. The same similar idea though. Earnings is coming up August 6th, so it could just be, for both of these, could just be a earnings run into earnings and then sell off on earnings. So be aware of that if you're playing either one of the tickers. Next is, we discussed Apple already. AMD. Mark the top. 1-to-1 extension target? Nope. 1 to 1.618 extension target from this last move. 121. It usually wicks over a little bit, so it did wick over at 122.49 as the top, and then from here we saw a bearish action. Volume wise, it was not exactly the reversal candle, the type of reversal candle that we're looking for, but volume did mark a potential volume climax. Then we saw bearish action yesterday. Would anticipate some sort of follow through from here today. There is a chance, because this candle is not exactly a reversal candle, there is a chance that we see a new high before the confirmed reversal. On the new high, would anticipate a daily bear divergence, and will be playing bear on AMD. So if you're in bulls and you didn't nail the top, there's no real concern for exit yet. Daily 8 is still not lost. We are still a little bit extended from daily 8. There's a chance we can make new highs. If you're not in the position for bulls, I wouldn't recommend going into a position for bulls. If you're looking for a position for bears and not in yet, would probably recommend looking for that. If that new high forms over the next few days, I don't imagine it's going to be today. It's going to take a 2-3, likely 2 to 5 days kind of thing. RSI needs to cool off a little bit before making a new high, and then from there that would be a bear entry. Next is CCL. All right, a little bit early to say congrats, but this CCL, Carnival Cruise Line Corporation, I love to play on this channel, long-term channel. Is respected that upper trend line, respected that lower trend line. And last time we gapped down, this was an amazing entry. Gap down, reversal candle, spinning, doji bottom candle, huge volume. So entry over here, and took profits. 1, 2, 3. Took half profit here, and then took the other half profit here. And yesterday, day before, when was it? Yesterday. Okay, yeah, we missed the entry on day before. Wicked right below the GP, right at that trend line, and huge lower wick. That was an amazing entry. Yesterday we got the entry in. It was close enough to that GP, that confluence area again today, and day before yesterday. And then yesterday we saw a decent follow through. Volume is nothing crazy yet. We're gonna need to see some increasing bull volume today. Ideally break over this 23. Yeah, there's 23 previous support resistance area, and then I can actually mark a zone here. And then the next, following that 23 area, we will be looking over here. we'll be looking over here at the next zone of between 24 to 25, 28. All right, AAL, similar idea, but a little bit weaker. We did lose that lower trend line of the potential channel that we're looking for. There's only 2 touches. We did lose it a couple times, so this channel potentially wouldn't work. We're gonna need to draw a new, yeah, let's do that. Let's draw a new pattern. What I'm seeing could be, potential wise, is an ascending megaphone. Nope, that wouldn't work either. So we were in ascending megaphone before, broke bear. Looks like what on AAL there's gonna be a new pattern that needs to be developed. As of right now, there's no clear pattern. Why is this line here? So this is the must-hold key trend line. There is still quite a bit of a ways away. Aside from that, looks like it's going to be a little bit harder to play this ticker. Huge spike, comes right back down. Big spike, sideways. Long-term trade-wise, looking decent. All right, next is AC. I'll cover all the majority of the reopenings at least. Air Canada. There we go. This one is very similar to CCL. Long-term channel ever since pandemic, and we came back down to the one-to-one extension, gap down, one-to-one extension, right below the long-term channel lower trend line, and big move up. Very similar yesterday. Same play as CCL. Next, Chewy. Short-term channel. Probably redraw this. You could say, you know, there's another trend line over here. So depending on how you want to play it, you know, the most ideal entry obviously going to be this lower trend line. And we broke over here already. So inverse head and shoulders pattern. Neckline's already been broken. Sorry about that. That's my alarm. Neckline's already been broken. Should see some decent follow through from here. What you want to see from here is with the close of high of day yesterday. Okay, the pre-market is doing that same thing again, but since it's showing green, there's no major concerns. With the close at the high of day yesterday, you want to see follow through today. Ideally, some sort of volume breaking this top of the key zone as well as the upper trend line. And then let's cover a couple more tickers. SQ. SQ, good potential. Very good potential. We're looking at potential new all-time high. Yesterday we did make a new all-time high, but we did not close over it. So from here, we want to be seeing some sort of bull volume continuation. Is a bull flag confirmation, bull flag confirmation. We want to see a close over that 283.19. As of right now, there is no major concern. There is a little bit of upper wick. Don't want to see rejection today. Even if, okay, so the most bearish case that bulls want to see is a back test of this previous key zone and then new all-time high. If that is not the case, then I would probably exit on the loss of this upper part of the key zone. Next, or even there is a potential of back test of this upper trend line of the wedge. How many touches do we have? 1, 2. Okay, so it's not that strong of a trend line. Let's see other one. ZY. Okay, so potential high risk, high reward type of trade. For those of you who have seen ZY or didn't read into the news, but look at this one. Day before yesterday, it was a gap down of 76%. Reverse, vice versa of score type of scenario. 76%. And Kathy ARK, for those of you who don't know, that's a ETF ARK, ARK, bought into this on this gap down. I gotta check. I think. Give me one sec. Roku. Okay. Looks like she didn't add into the position yesterday. Now, from here, we saw a 74% to the upside price action yesterday already, after a 70-some% gap down, 76% gap down. There is huge potential on this. Even just the gap fill alone, we're looking at another 128%. So it's sort of a, I would say, lotto type of play. Unless you're going commons and you know what the background of this stock is, then there's a good potential. You could just hold commons. But if you're looking at options, good potential for a gap fill. The other one is FSL. Nice. Pre-market is up another 4.85%. So FSL, this is a ticker that we've been sort of just having in the back of our mind. Long-term trend line. Yesterday was a touch. It's going to be a little bit hard to see here. A touch on that the day before and yesterday was a touch on that long-term lower trend line. We did not touch the lower trend line of this long-term wedge, descending wedge. And the ideal entry that I was originally looking at was the 5.8 support, the gap fill. So if we were to look back here, there was this gap that was never filled. This slight gap was never filled, and in order to fill it, we wanted to see a 5.8. Did not see it, but based on the volume, based on the lower trend line, based on the touch, the bounce, yesterday was a decent entry, not to mention a daily bull divergence forming. So lower price actions, higher RSIs. So decent spot for first entry. Most ideal, obviously, is yesterday would have touched the 5.8 with a big lower wick, but that was not what happened. Regardless, chart looks very nice. From here, there is a inner wedge. So this upper trend line, we want to see this break. Following that, we'd be looking at this upper trend line. Okay, and was there one more? Good morning, Daniel. Okay, Amazon. Slow move up. Should be looking at a gap fill. 6%. This might take quite a bit of time for it to play out, so I wouldn't really recommend playing options on this. Low bear volume now, and we are seeing a little bit of outweighing bull volume. And we are still holding that must hold trend line as well. Well, actually, we lost the must hold, but we're still holding that shorter term trend line. Do not want to lose that. The must hold now is this low of 3,300. Right, so that's it for today's live video. Hope you guys enjoy the content. If you know anyone who could benefit from the contents that we provide, please do consider sharing our channel with them. And a thumbs up would be really appreciated. If you have any comments, any tickers you'd like to be reviewed, let me know, and we can take a look at it on the next video. Thanks for watching. I will see you guys next week. Hope everyone have a great weekend.